with absolute great pleasure, going to be inviting up Omid first. Come on, Omid. Up you come. Omid, round of applause for Omid. Omid is joined the team this year, didn't you, Omid? Yes. Yeah, 6 months ago. Ben's centre manager will be joining up in a second. We planted Spear off the back of through COVID. There was a real recognition that so many young people in our town were struggling to get into work, education, and training. And so Spear was set up as a way of coming alongside some of these young people. And I'm going to let these guys speak into the ins and outs of what's been happening. But it's been absolutely phenomenal. If you've ever come to a Spear celebration evening where we get to hear from some of the young people that have been through the course, it's truly inspirational, very life-giving, and actually quite prophetic as well, isn't it? So I'm going to pray for these guys. I'm going to hand over without further ado. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for Spear. Thank you for the team here, Ben and Omid. Thank you for the trustees, and thank you for the countless people across this congregation and around the town who support Spear financially, in prayer and service, Lord, for this vital, vital ministry. I pray for Omid and Ben as they bring us this morning's word in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name's Omid. As Chris said, I'm the lead coach here at Spear Bournemouth. Ben's going to be coming up shortly, who's our centre manager. And we've also got Matt here with us, who is a trainee on his year of support here at Spear. Woo! Yeah, let's have a woo for Matt. We're going to be interviewing him a little bit later on so he can share his journey through Spear. A little bit about me. I became a Christian just over a year ago. That's an easy woo, isn't it, really? That's an easy woo. And yeah, I've been in this role coming up to 6 months now. A lot of nerves in me today, to be honest. I'm not used to speaking in front of a crowd this big. Also, Arsenal are playing Tottenham later. Tim Matthews is a Spurs fan. I'm an Arsenal fan, so bit of hostility today just started off. So the process of today, we're just going to give you sharing our purpose. What is Spear? What do we do? And also our partner with God in that, and the church's relationship in that, and how we bring that all together to support these young people in the local area and hopefully transforming the local society as well. And then we're also going to be finishing off by sharing how you can get involved. You guys play such a massive role in that as well, and you're going to find out a little bit more about how you can get involved. Some might know a lot about Spear, some might not know very much, but hopefully at the end of today, everyone will know a lot more about Spear and what we do. But we believe in giving opportunities to young people in the local area who haven't had these types of opportunities before, and getting them to recognize their own potential and their ability to take an ownership over their lives. Every single Spear session, group session, starts off with an icebreaker. So today, we're going to be starting off with an icebreaker as well. We're not onto the serious stuff just yet. It's a lot better than that. We are going to be playing rock, paper, scissors. Now, the premise of rock, paper, scissors is a rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That's how we're going to play. Anyone that disobeys those rules is automatically disqualified, so sorry. So if you turn around in groups of 4, clusters of 4, play rock, paper, scissors, and then we're going to have a final 2 winners up at the front to do the finale. A lot of honesty, please, and when you win in your 4, find another winner, and then hopefully we'll have 2 final people up front. You've not got that long, find your 4s, go for it. If you've won, find another winner around the room. 2-minute warning, 2-minute warning to find me a winner, 2 winners. Yeah, we've got a winner, we've got 1 winner. I'm happy to have 1 winner up here. 1 more. Woo! Come on up, come on up. What's your name, sorry?
I'm Christine.
Christine and?
Effie.
Effie, Christine and Effie. What we're gonna do now is this is the finale, right? So, I'm gonna split you all down the middle, right down the middle. This side, I want you to be supporting Effie. Give a big shout for Effie. And this side, you're gonna be supporting Christine. Ooh! You guys got to do better. You guys have got to do better. That set the premise. So, whilst they're doing the rock, paper, scissors, I want to hear shouts from both sides, and we're going to kick them off. 3, 2, 1. And again, and again. Come on, team. Oh! Sorry. Winner. You don't get a prize, I'm sorry. There's no awards here, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry. Great, well, thanks for joining in on that. That is the chaos coming to a slight end. And Ben is going to come up and share about what we do here and what Spear is.
Thanks, Omid. My name is Ben. If I haven't met you before, usually actually you'd find me perhaps behind one of these instruments here. You might have seen me before. I had significantly more hair, as you can see in this picture here. I'm the one on the right, believe it or not there. So there we go. I'm a Manchester United supporter, so kind of just, yeah, I know. Come on, guys, yeah, it's just always kind of like this for me here, so nothing exciting today. So, yes. So I'm going to talk a bit about Spear. No more icebreakers, I'm afraid. When the young people come onto the program, they hate the icebreakers at the start, and at the end we're like, what do you guys need today? And they're like, another icebreaker. So I do apologize, there's not going to be another icebreaker for you today. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about Spear, what we do, how we do it, why we do it, how we partner with God in that. So yeah, feel free to journey with me in that today. So yeah, what do we do at Spear? So we partner with the church here in Bournemouth because we believe that there's untapped potential in the young people in the BCP region. And we want to see that potential come to life. We want to see that potential come to life. And so the way that we do that is we do a program that starts with a 4-week foundation phase with a year of support. And so the young people, I'll talk a bit about the young people who come on the program. So as Chris mentioned earlier, the young people who come on our program face lots of different barriers that stop them from getting into work or education. So as you might know, of course, there's a massive mental health epidemic in the country at the moment. So a lot of the young people who come on the program, I would say probably about 80% of the young people who come on our program are suffering with at least one mental health condition. So that's things like depression, anxiety, other things like that that are stopping them from even getting out of that house. It can be the first thing actually that stops the young people from accessing getting to work or education is they can't even get out of bed. Other barriers that stop the young people from getting into work, low educational attainment. A lot of our young people actually didn't enjoy school, they didn't like school, they didn't feel they could connect with school. Perhaps a lot of them felt very misunderstood by the education system, so we know that for sure. A big part of Bournemouth that we know actually is that when we look at the young people who come onto our program, we kind of look and track where their barriers are getting into work or education. And something we know particularly for Bournemouth, because there's lots of Spear centres across the country, is that in Bournemouth, there's a really high number of hereditary benefits, meaning that, the young people see a lack of ambition modelled in their families. And often what we see actually here specifically is that there's generational kind of apathy towards getting into work or education. The young people actually, if they don't see this is why I should get into work from what's going on in their family, then actually they themselves think, well, what's the point? Why should I do it in the first place? And so we know that particularly for our young people here specifically. So yeah, those are some of the barriers that stop the young people from getting to work. And of course, we want to see that change, right? We want to see them get into the work so that they could have sustainable change, they can have some purpose, they can have drive, they can feel like they're contributing towards society and not just receiving from it as well. So we want to see that for the young people. So how does that happen? How do we actually get a young person from when they first come to the program to their end of year of support, to see them in work or education? So the way that we work, we run a 4-week program, which is actually here in the room next door. Underfloor heating is really helpful for us in the winter when the young people come in as well. So thanks for that. Yeah. So we run a 4-week program, and what we do on that program, we look at all the key areas that are going to stop and help the young people from getting into work or education. So there's lots of practical things that we do that help the young people. So of course we look at a CV. What does that look like? How do we make that as effective as it can be? We look at things like mock interviews. Has anyone been a mock interviewer here? Raise your hand if you've done mock interviews before. Amazing. Yeah, small whoops there. Mock interview day is where we get the young people, we find a job that they're genuine or apply to, we get them to practice interview with a mock interviewer so they feel really confident heading interviews, knowing how to answer questions. A lot of other practical things we do are applications, looking at where to actually apply for jobs. A lot of the young people are just doing quick apply on Indeed. We know that isn't effective. We want to make sure that they find things that are really exciting, that they want to do, that they feel bought into. And I think that is, we look at mindsets particularly on the program. That is a huge part of what we do, and probably what separates us from different kind of work readiness organizations across the country. Because as I said earlier, what we recognize is actually, you could have an amazing CV, you could know how to interview, but if you're struggling to get out of bed, if you have low self-belief, we talk about confidence a lot. Confidence in the program isn't just being the loudest person at the front, being able to talk to everyone. What we say confidence really is at Spear is actually backing yourself, having the ability to have self-belief to say, do you know what, I actually deserve this opportunity, I deserve to move forward in my life. That's what confidence really is. It isn't just about being loud at the front. And we want to instill that in the young people. We want to see them really back themselves, to know that they deserve to move forward in their lives. And so we cover that on the program, and we'll sit with them, we go through things like power, victim mindset, growth fixed mindset. And me and Omid, we're trained coaches. So the way that we work, the way that we run, particularly as I said earlier, the young people, they don't enjoy school, is we ask questions rather than give answers. So our whole remit here at Spear is that rather than us just standing at the front for like 4 hours saying to the young people, this is how you get into work, this is how we think you do it, we don't do that. We ask the question, we say, how do you want to get into work? What can you get out of work? How do you want to change your mindset? With the hope of creating some genuine sustainable change and autonomy, so that it's not just us doing everything for the young people, so that when they come to the end of the year of support, they know how to move forward themselves without having to rely on anything else. So that's what we're really keen to do here at Spear Bournemouth. So that's how the program runs, and then obviously we're just bridging the gap. We're just bridging the gap between now and getting into work. We know that Spear is not the end goal. We really want to see that work or education as the thing they step into, because we know that that is the mechanism, that is the catalyst towards some of that purpose, routine, structure, community that we want to see. So yeah, that is a bit about us. My mouth's getting really dry. Can you tell? I'm like, ooh, getting through it. I might need some water or something. Is that all right, Chris? Thanks, mate. Okay, so across the centre, I don't know if you know much about this, but across the country, there are actually 19 Spear centres, and we've actually worked with about 10,000 young people so far. So that's quite incredible, I think, in our past 20 years as an organisation, where we started in Hammersmith. And something that we did with the DWP, so the Department of Work and Pensions, is we kind of did some data labs, some analysis. We're really keen on making sure that the impact we want to have is genuinely had in our organisation, so we're consistently kind of running tests. Something that we've seen about Spear is that 75%, you can see on the right there, 75% of the young people who complete the Spear programme are in work or education. Thanks, Chris. A year later. Yeah, let's get a little whoop for that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that water was amazing. Thank you, Chris, yeah. Fantastic. Okay, I feel like I'm talking at you a lot. Before we move on, I'd love for you to turn to the person next to you. I've just shared a lot of information there. What is standing out to you? What is kind of like struck with you? What struck a nerve about the way that we support people or what we do at Spear? So go for it. Before I move on, turn to the person next to you. What is already standing out to you? Go for it. Okay, cool. Come back together, everyone. Come back together. Yeah, I'd actually love to hear from some people. I'm going to give Omid a job as well to run around with the microphone, which is always fun. So I'd love to hear from some people. Raise your hand. Would love to hear what's standing out to people. What struck you? What have you noticed? Raise your hand. Go for it. Prue. A bit more pace, Omid.
I think the wonderful thing is that you make people feel valued, which they don't. It's so in their own homes. Wonderful.
Yeah, I love that, Prue, that they feel valued, that they actually deserve to be in that space. Yeah, thank you.
I absolutely love the idea that you actually use the coaching method, of assisting these young ones. You actually, instead of standing there and telling them what to do, you actually transforming inside out by asking questions. How can they actually get solutions? So, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thanks. It's so interesting when we first speak to the young people and we say, why do you want to work? What's the purpose of working, right? And they're like, oh, no one's ever actually asked me that before. We actually hear that quite often. No one's actually asked me why I do want to work in the first place, because something that we recognize is like, if they didn't actually want to work in the first place, and other people are just telling them to do so, they're not going to do it, right? So actually creating that buy-in for themselves makes a massive difference. So yeah, thank you. Let's hear from a couple more before we move on. Raise your hands. We've got Margie, Angela.
Yeah, we worship God, don't we? And He's a God of hope. And I love that you are displaying that with these young people. You're giving them a God characteristic and they don't even know it.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks, Angela. One of our mission statements here at Spear Bournemouth particularly as well is to bring both our head and our heart to see hope realised, because what we recognise is that the young people do often they bring not a lot of hope, that apathy, but when they do have that hope, we want to see it realised. They hope to get into this career. They hope to move forward. We want to see it realised and actualised. So yeah, I'm going to talk about how we partner with God in a second, Angela. Thanks, though. Go for it, Margie.
And as somebody who's had the joy of being around during mock interview afternoons, it's just phenomenal something that to me would be extremely terrifying. And these young people turn up for these interviews, and amazing people who've been teachers and bankers and nurses and goodness knows what else, interview them, give them feedback, interview them again that very day, get more feedback, and these youngsters go, this is just amazing. Nobody's ever given me feedback like that before. Nobody's ever shown that kind of interest in me before. And it's transformational and it's just precious.
Thanks so much, Margie. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Margie, come on up, replace me, honestly. Go for it. Yeah. No, it's wonderful. Thanks, everyone. And as Chris was saying earlier, a big part of what we do is challenge them, challenge their way of thinking, challenge that they can do it for themselves and that we want to come alongside to do it. But actually, ultimately, it's up to them. But a big part of what we do as well is to encourage them as well. It's called High Support, High Challenge. And actually, as Chris was saying, a lot of the encouragements are quite prophetic. A lot of the young people in their lives, they don't receive encouragement very often, something that perhaps we take for granted, not obviously speaking for everyone, I certainly know that I do for myself, is take encouragement for granted, being around people who are really for me. A lot of the young people who come on the program haven't received, you're doing a great job. Even something as simple as that, they haven't received that for a long time. So we really want to speak into that. Thanks, Margie. Okay, but obviously we partner with the church, right? How do we do that? How do we partner with God? Something that we really recognize at Spear Bournemouth is that we can't do this work on our own. It's quite busy work. It's stressful. It can be quite back to back for us. And so we really want to recognize that actually we have to surrender. We have to surrender our work, give it over to God. How do we do that as an organization? So kind of one of the overarching stories of how we do that as part of our organization here at Resurgo is when Nehemiah is rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem. And so it says, when rebuilding the wall, Nehemiah divides the workforce in half. Half of the people stand guard, meaning they are keeping watch and praying, while the other half does the physical work of building the wall. We know that intercession is such a key part of what we do, and it's a muscle that we want to continue to grow as. We want to recognize that we can't do everything in our own strength. We need to surrender and give it to God. So as a team, as an organization, we are consistently partnering with the Lord. That's why we partner with churches, to make sure that we're not just trying to do everything on our own, and we recognize that the Lord has more of a part to play than we do, and we're just vessels in the work that he wants to see bring about in this community, right? So yeah, that's what we do. And I'll just, before we watch a video in a second, I'm going to read this psalm as well, which kind of highlights that in particular for us as well. So Psalm 127:1 states, "Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchmen stand guard in vain." Yeah. So that's our prayer. That's our prayer, that we would relinquish control, we would surrender over to the Lord more and more to see his work fulfilled in our community. And I'm going to talk a bit more about Bournemouth in a second, but before we do that, we're going to watch a video of a story from someone called Khadija, who did the program in a different centre, but it's going to highlight a bit more of the impact about what this has. So go for it.
Okay. My early years was very chaotic. My mum was involved with all kinds of things, so drugs, alcohol. So I was 14. I met this guy who was a lot older than me, and he was offering me this stability that I suppose I felt like I was missing. I ended up falling in love with him, and we moved in together. And a few months later, I found out I was pregnant, which meant I had to leave school. I then found myself in a domestic violence relationship. I was beaten up. Just felt isolated, really alone. I'm really not sure what to do.
Pause it there.
Okay, thanks. Ooh, so weird watching that back. 19. I'm 30 now. The first time I was a mum, I was way too young. Now that my daughter's a teenager, I look at her and I'm like, I was married and I was a mother at her age. I remember getting pregnant and thinking, I'm going to change this girl's life forever. I don't want her to have the childhood that I had. I've seen way too much. There was one situation that I woke up in the morning and my mum wasn't in the house and there was a bath full of blood. And I was like, what is going on? Where's my mum? That's the kind of stuff I used to wake up to, or I'd wake up and there'd just be random men in the house. I liked going to school. I got kicked out for being pregnant. They didn't want me to be around the other kids. I got into a really dark place. I went from one bad situation to another bad situation. When you only know chaos, you only attract chaos. I understood that actually some of history was repeating itself. It took me a long time to get the courage to be like, I don't want this life anymore. I just don't want Sophia to ever look back and be like, my mum was like this. I want her to say, my mum was a good mum. Sorry. I literally had a conversation with God and with myself saying I will make sure I do everything to raise this girl differently. How can I better myself? Because I want to go back to school, I want to get education, but I had no idea how to. I was actually walking down North End Road in Fulham and I seen a spear sign on the door. I remember leaving the first day thinking, wow, this is really cool. I really enjoyed that, so I'm going to come back tomorrow, and then I did. To begin with, I didn't know how to write a CV. I didn't know about interviewing. For a long time, I was in that victim mindset. I'm from Brixton, I have no education, I'm a young mum. My life is so rubbish, it's always going to be cursed, it's always going to be bad. And when I done Spear, I was like, actually, no, it doesn't have to be like that, it's going to be different. I changed that victim mentality into the power mentality and just tried to be positive. And I done very well. Once I'd finished the course, I was like, I can do anything. And I did. I went back to school, I did my GCSEs, went to uni, I got my degree. Spear got me some opportunities that I probably never would have had the chance to if I didn't do Spear. It was like the building blocks, I would say, to my everything. I am a registered mental health nurse, which I love saying. I'm hardworking, I have a lot of compassion, and that I'm a good team player. people are appreciating you for, your skill set, your personality, it does make you feel great. I have purpose. The other days that I'm not working, I'm at home with the kids. I always thought it's going to be just me and Sophia forever. Now we've got 2 boys in the mix. But now that my kids are here, I can't imagine my life without them. I've always wanted to be an extraordinary mum. I'm not going to be just another statistic. I want to be the change. I'm hopeful for the future. I'm looking forward to seeing my children further grow and develop. I'm looking forward to my career. I want to do like a master's, PhD. If I didn't see Spear, I'd probably still be getting myself into bad situations because I didn't have that foundation. Spear repaired the bridge for me. It's taken 10 years to get this far, but I am proud of myself. I definitely have achieved a lot. I'm sure the next 10 years I'll have even more good things to say.
Yeah, incredible. Probably pause it there, yeah. Thanks. So yeah, we know that there's a need for Spear here in Bournemouth. I had a meeting last week with someone part of the DWP who was sharing a bit about the stats of Bournemouth and the need for Spear here, and he shared with me that 18 to 24, there's 1,325 NEET, so not in employment, education or training, young people in the BCP region, which is just so many young people, and actually also. Bournemouth is one of the most deprived areas in the UK, Boscombe particularly being in the top 1% statistically across the UK of the most deprived areas. So we know that there's a need here for Spear in Bournemouth, which is why it was set up a few years ago. Some of you might know that. We've worked with over 300 people now, which is just amazing. Yeah, get a whoop for that, I think. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, we want that work to continue. But as I said earlier, we want to partner with God in that work. And I think as I was praying about this and thinking about, our mission as a team, me and Omid right now, what was really standing out to me is the Lord seeking and finding, going after those who feel like they're the least, the last, and the lost. And as I was looking into Scripture and kind of looking at, where and Jesus' heart as he kind of shares about that and his heart for those who feel in the least, last, or lost, these verses stood out to me. Luke 19:10, for the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. Matthew 20:16, the last will be first and the first last. Matthew 25:40, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. In BCP, we knew that identity, isolation, and apathy is something that runs deep in our community. And we at Spear, we don't want to see that. We want to respond to that. We want to support the young people into being the loved, the lifted, and the found. That's our mission. That's our hope here in Bournemouth. So yeah, that's us. That's what we do. That's what we do here at Spear. I'm gonna stop talking now, you'll be pleased to know. And you're going to hear from Matt now, who's going to share a bit about his experience. He did the program, I think like 6 or 7 months ago now, Matt, something like that, yeah. Sharing a bit about, how he found it with Omid. Go for it.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Thanks for coming and sharing today. Why don't you, give us a little introduction of yourself anyway.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Matt. Should I just talk about before? Yeah. So before Spear, about around this time last year, actually, I got let go from my old job at a restaurant, and it kind of impacted my confidence a lot, and I just didn't know where to go from that point on. But then my younger brother actually suggested going to Spear. He did it before me, and it really impacted him a lot, especially the mindset that they learned from it, and it really helped him get through some challenging times. So I just figured, there's not much to lose, I might as well give it a go.
Thanks, Matt. And what do you think, when you came to Spear, what kind of stood out to you? What was your main take home as well?
The first thing that I noticed at Spear was just how welcoming and warm the coaches were. They were just instantly.
We have not paid him to say that, just as a caveat.
Yeah. On my first day, they all just I I was nervous before going in, but I was so comfortable the moment I stepped in there. I saw them all. So yeah.
And from the program, from the program, what stood out to you particularly, Matt?
I think just how they were really good at bringing out your confidence. I found they were really encouraging, always encouraging. Even and everyone with everyone in the group, they'd always have people tell you encouragements and make you feel cared for and supported.
Thanks, Matt. And in another world, what would it have looked like for you if you didn't do Spear, do you think?
I say I probably wouldn't be as confident as I was now. I wouldn't be up here if I didn't. And yeah, I wouldn't know where I'd probably still be looking for a job. Yeah. And
that being said, Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about your life now and what you're doing now?
I'm currently working at TK Maxx. Not the most exciting bit. And it was Ben who helped me find a job and helped me apply for it and get me through the interview. And I'm currently also just working on becoming a musician, who Ben again is also providing support for me for. So yeah.
And how are you? Oh, around. And Matt is actually also working straight after this, so we are so grateful that he came and shared his story with us today. So thank you so much for sharing,
it's all good.
Matt.
Thank you for listening.
Can we give another massive round of applause for Matt,
Thank
please?
you.
I'm just going to invite Ben back up. Now we're going to move on to the bit about how you guys can get involved and how you can help impact Spear.
Thanks, Omid. Yeah, a couple of things to say there. We're going to form a Spear band at some point. We have enough musicians now. I keep on encouraging them. They need no encouragement. They're always in a circle with a guitar. Someone's got a guitar. It's lovely. And I just said to Matt, because he's actually working at 1, I said, if you turn up late, please give them my phone number so I can call them and be like, it's my fault. You're late today. You can share that. So if he runs away, then that's what he's doing. Okay, fantastic. So we would love to partner, of course, with the church that we're a part of, and for you guys to get involved in the mission, to see these young people, step into that purpose, step into that community, step into a life that they deserve. So there's a few ways to get involved. You may see or be sat on a card on your chair at the moment. So if you look underneath you, there's a card with a few different things on it. The purpose of the card today is to, there's a few different ways that we would love for you to get involved. Let me just get it up on here so I can make sure that, So there's a few different ways to get involved with us today. So one way to get involved with us, you can partner with us as a business, of course. Our remit is to help young people into work or education. So if you either own a business or you work in a business that you think might be able to offer work experience or permanent employment, or we do different volunteering opportunities with businesses, then please tick that. If you what are the other ones here? Want to refer a young person, there, it should be on the card as well. I should have one of these cards actually. Matt, can you pass me that card so I can actually just read it? Thank you. Okay, great. So you could refer a young person to the program. We work primarily with the job centres, probation services, BCP Council, but we do still take friends and family referrals as well. So if you have a young person that you think is struggling with any of the barriers I mentioned earlier, then please refer. You can tick that off as well. Give your time. This is a big one as well. Mock interviews is a big thing for our young people. We know that actually having volunteers as part of the program who come, speak life, speak some challenge as well into these young people's life is really helpful for us and for the young people particularly. The volunteering days always stand out to the young people. And then finally, of course, giving financially to us. Our target right now is to raise £30,000, which, that's our target. We want to work with more people. That's what that money is going to enable us to do, is work with 30 more people a year. We currently work with 60 people a year. We want to work with 30 more people so we can support 90 people, because we know that the quality of our work is good. We want the impact to be larger and wider. We want to work with more young people in this area to see them, step into a life that they deserve, right? So that's our target. That's what we're trying to do at the moment. So in terms of how to do that, if you can tick one of the boxes of how you want to get involved and then leave it on your chair. We were going to do a basket, but we scrapped that. So tick something on that booklet, how you want to get involved, leave it on your chair, and then we'll follow up with you on that. So yeah, that's us today. I think we're going to do the band. I think the band are going to come up while I stand here in silence. I asked Lewis for like a gentle pad in the background. So I'm just going to pray. I'm just going to pray for us. Now pray for Spear for us as a church, our community, as the band coming up. So if you'd like to close your eyes. Yes, Jesus, we come to you now, we look to you. We thank you that you are here. Your Spirit is moving among us. Jesus, we thank you for the work of Spear. We thank you that we get the opportunity to partner with you, to see your mission flourish, to see your heart move in the young people in this community. Jesus, we long to see the society change. We long to see the fabric of this community stitched. We long to see it flourish, Lord. We recognize that we need you in this space, Jesus. And I was really struck when Prue was sharing earlier about the Lord being the King. And I don't know if, as I was sharing this morning, that some of those barriers, mental health, other things, aren't just in the young people we know, it's in us. It can be in this church community as well. And I was really just struck that perhaps there was something that we were sharing this morning that actually hit a nerve in you. It could have been something about your background. It could be something in your present moment now. But I'm just going to pray over that now. And say that he's sovereign. Jesus is sovereign. He is king over mental health. Jesus is king over depression. He is king over anxiety. Jesus is king over anger. He is the Lord over pain. He comes alongside us. I just encourage you now to place Jesus on the throne in your life. Thank you, Jesus, for being here. We love you, Lord.